Do realms finally want to work? Hello, stream. Hopefully, Armin joins.
From the Vine, and I won't play the audio, but just from this image, I guarantee you, everyone who's seen the show is crying their eyes out. We go from that emotional gut punch straight into Appa's lost days. He was abused at a circus for a while and had a real rough time, until eventually the Kyoshi Warriors found him and nursed him back to health. Just then, Azula and friends arrived, so Kyoshi Warriors fought him off while Appa escaped. He actually made it to Ba Sing Se, but the dastardly Dai Li were waiting for him and captured him. Long story short, the gang finds the Dai Li secret base under the lake and goes to rescue Appa, but wait, that's someone else at the door. It's the Blue Spirit. Yeah, when Zuko saw the Appa missing flyer, instinct kicked in to hunt the Avatar. He's gonna capture the Avatar's bison and sort of wing it from there, but Uncle Iroh followed him down like, hey Zuko, it's time to really think about what you want out of life. You've been on a season-long redemption arc. Are you really gonna kidnap the Avatar's bison now? So elsewhere, the gang gets cornered, but wait, who's that? It's Appa! Yeah, Zuko set him free. So now Aang is done messing around. It's time to assault the palace and free the city from Dai Li control. And this is one of the coolest scenes in the whole series, as we realize that our group of teenagers are incredible master benders. They take down all these guys. Long story short, Long Feng is arrested, and the Earth King agrees to help with the eclipse.
Once I get a viewer, I'm gonna assume it's who I think it is.
In the Avatar state, he has access to all of his past lives. That's why it's so powerful. But if he dies in the Avatar state, the cycle of reincarnation will be broken. The Avatar will cease to exist. Around this time, Toph gets kidnapped by some guys her parents hired to bring her home. They put her in a metal case, and it's been well established throughout the series that Earthbenders can't bend metal. But Toph's like, wait, can't I though? She uses her unique Earth sensing to realize that metal is basically just a different form of Earth, and oh, she invents metal bending. Then the Kyoshi Warriors make it to Ba Sing Se, but wait a minute, that's not Suki, it's Azula in disguise. The Dai Li are still loyal to Long Feng, and he proposes that they work together. He gives her temporary command of the Dai Li to lead a coup on the city. But when he tries to double-cross her, the Dai Li don't help. They're more scared of her than of him. So Azula has taken control of Ba Sing Se. Meanwhile, since he's decided not to hunt the Avatar, Zuko's in a much better mood. I was invited to make tea for the Earth King, but it is a trap set by Azula. Iroh demonstrates why his nickname is the Dragon of the West, and he escapes, but Zuko decides to stay and fight, which doesn't go well. Zuko's thrown into rock jail with Katara, who justifiably hates him. But he's like, yeah, sorry about season 1. I was a real jerk back then. I'm on redemption right now. They get talking about his scar, and she pulls out the magic spirit oasis water from the North Pole, like, hey, maybe I can heal your scar. And oh man, the Katara-Zuko shipping is kicked into high gear. Just then, though, their friends come to save them, and Iroh starts explaining to Zuko, like, hey, we should probably join Team Avatar. Azula busts in there, like, don't listen to him, Zuzu. If you help me capture the Avatar, Father will welcome you back with open arms. So this is it, the moment of truth, when Zuko finally completes...
Once I get a viewer, I'm hoping it's Armin.
No, he attacks Aang! Zuko, no, I believed in you! There's an epic fight scene, but in the end, the Dai Li come and they're way outnumbered. So it's time for the Avatar state. Yeah, you guys are in trouble now. Except, oh, lightning sneak attack from Azula! Oh, and Aang is down for the count! Aang is in bad shape here. If not for the magic spirit water, he would have died. Luckily, he survives, but the Avatar state is now blocked for him. He can't use it anymore. So in book 3, with Azula...
It's probably because you laughed. Because when you laugh, you don't seem to pay attention.
Zuko is welcomed home with honor. In fact, he meets his father, who we finally get to see, Fire Lord Ozai. He's proud of Zuko.
That's why you should take your matches serious.
So he visits his Uncle Iroh.
Then do you wonder why I was yelling at you? It's because in competitive, I take the game seriously. And I don't want to be losing all my matches.
Zuko knows that Katara had the magic spirit water, and Aang might be alive. So he hires a bounty hunter to finish the job. Who is this guy? Turns out Aang did survive, but it's been a while. He's grown hair. With the Earth Kingdom fallen, they won't be able to mount a full-scale invasion on the day of the eclipse, but they're still planning a smaller-scale invasion just to take out the Fire Lord. But they've got some time still, so they grab some disguises and cruise around the Fire Nation. Flamey-o, hot man! We get our first look inside the Fire Nation, which is an oppressive dictatorship, so Aang throws a dance party to free these kids' minds. They have some more one-off adventures. Most notably, Sokka feels bad that he doesn't have any cool bending powers, so he trains with a sword master and ends up making a sweet space sword. Then they meet a nice old lady who's secretly a waterbender captured many years ago. She teaches Katara that even if you're not near water, there's water all around you in plants and stuff. And if you take the next logical step, people are also mostly water. Yes, you can do blood bending, which is super creepy. Tracking him down this season is this massive bounty hunter. He's mastered a unique form of firebending where he makes explosions with his mind. At first, Sokka names names him Sparky Boom Man, but then changes it to Combustion Man. Zuko and the Fire Nation teens have a hilarious beach episode. Zuko's actually dating May, and both being pretty emo, they make a good couple. Finally, it's the day of Black Sun, the Eclipse Invasion. They're gathered a ragtag team.
Why can't I find a single Netherwart?
What's going on with Aang and Katara, by the way? He's had a crush on her since episode 1, and finally, he goes in for the kiss, but doesn't seem like she's into it. So it's invasion time. While everyone's keeping the army busy, Aang's gonna go in and take down the Fire Lord. But no one's home. They knew they were coming. Yeah, back when Azula was pretending to be a Kyoshi warrior,
I can't find any Netherwart. I think this Nether Fortress doesn't have Netherwart.
Powerless, so they can still salvage the day if they can find the Fire Lord. Unfortunately, they only find Azula, who's happy to keep them distracted. But Zuko has his own eclipse plan. He's finally decided to confront his father. It's like, yo, you were a terrible father. I can't believe I ever wanted your approval. And furthermore, the Fire Nation are the bad guys in this war. I'm gonna go join Team Avatar and help him take you down. Zuko talked too long, though. The eclipse is over, so Ozai shoots lightning at his son. Luckily, Iroh taught him how to redirect it, and boom, Zuko's able to get out of there. He goes to bust his uncle out of prison, but Iroh's busted himself out of prison. He spent his time in jail on an epic workout montage, and Iroh got ripped. With the eclipse over, the Fire Nation debuts their new fleet of airships. They cut off their retreat, so the adults all have to surrender while Team Avatar escapes to fight another day. Looks like it's back to the original plan. Aang's got to master all 4 elements that take down the Fire Lord. Where are they going to find a firebending teacher, though? All the firebenders are bad guys, except for redemption arc completed Balloon Zuko. Hello, Zuko here. He's like, hey, sorry guys, I know I was a bad guy, but I'm a good guy now. They don't trust him though, especially since he made his choice at the end of season 2. But just then, Sparky Boom Man shows up and Zuko tries to fight him off. There's no way to fight this guy head on, so it's Sokka's time to shine with his boomerang. Oh yeah, boomerang time, right in the forehead. So next time he tries to explode, boom, explodes himself. So now he's proved himself and Zuko officially joins Team Avatar. He goes on a series of one-on-one field trips. First he and Aang go to find the original source of firebending that's not fueled by anger, and long story short, meet up with some dragons. It is a super sweet scene, and basically they learn that fire's not just destruction, but it is also life. Zuko and Sokka take a balloon ride where they have one of the funniest conversations about girls ever.
My first girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
They go to the boiling rock to rescue Sokka's dad. It turns out Suki's here too, so they're
Armin, I miss you.
May,
I am playing Minecraft.
But he's like, sorry baby, it's not you, it's me. I'm on a redemption arc. Azula comes to stop their escape, but May chooses to help Zuko. I love Zuko more than I fear you. Ty Lee is caught in the middle of this and decides to, take out Azula. So these two are very much arrested, but have chosen good. Katara is the slowest to forgive Zuko. She'll never forgive the Fire Nation for killing her mother. But Zuko offers to help her track down the guy that did it. This guy retired years ago, but they track him down, and Katara, freezes the rain. Master Waterbending gonna kill him. But no, she can't go through with it. She won't stoop to that level. There's a play in town based on them, and it's a hilarious episode, but it brings up a good point that the comet is coming, and Aang is in no way ready to beat the Fire Lord. They're like, you know what? The only reason to fight the Fire Lord before the comet is so that he doesn't use it to win the war, but the war's already lost. Let's just keep training. We'll fight him later. But Zuko's got some bad news for him. In War Council, they were talking about how the Earthbenders keep rebelling, so Ozai's like, hey, why do you want to rule them? Let's just use the comets to burn the entire Earth Nation to ash. So yeah, the comet is now a hard deadline. Aang has another problem, though. What's he gonna do to the Fire Lord? Because he doesn't kill people. That goes against everything he believes in. That night, a mysterious island shows up, and Aang sleepwalks out to it. When he wakes up, middle of the ocean. Aang's island turns out to be a giant lion turtle. It's like, hey man, do you know a way I could stop Ozai without killing him? And it's like, yeah bro, I'm 10,000 years old. Here's a trick that I think will help. So with Aang mysteriously disappeared, they fly back to Ba Sing Se and meet all the old people that have helped them along the way. Turns out they are all members of the Order of the White Lotus. Uncle Iroh summoned them here. And so Zuko is finally reunited with his uncle. He can barely get the word sorry out of his mouth when Iroh hugs him and forgives him, crying all over the place. He's like, hey guys, I can't help you fight the Fire Lord. It's gotta be the Avatar. We all have our own destinies. And Zuko, yours is to go back to the Fire Nation and confront Azula so that you can be the new Fire Lord and bring peace to the world. And now Sozin's Comet is finally here. Fire Lord Ozai has rebranded himself as the Phoenix King. He's leading his fleet of airships, and with the comet's power, that's a lot of fire. But right there to stop him is our boy Aang, the Avatar. They have an epic fight. Firebending is
Where the fuck?
mastered all 4 elements, but Ozai is a beast. He's got Aang on the ropes. Pretty soon, it's all Aang can do to hold on. Meanwhile,
I can't find any Netherwart.
charged by the comet. Uncle Iroh's got it.
Can you join
Launches
after
an
that?
assault on Ba Sing Se. The city he once tried to conquer for the Fire Nation, now liberated from the Fire Nation. The rest of the airship fleet is continuing Operation Burn Everything, but luckily Sakasuki and Toph got onto one, and with Toph's metal bending, managed to hijack it. Sokka's got a plan to stop the whole fleet. Airship slice! Yeah, they go off to the side, and they're ramming speed! Blasting through all the airships! Whoa! Back in the Fire Nation, Azula was left in charge, but after the betrayal of her friends, she's starting to lose it and banishes everyone around her. With no servants to do her hair, she goes to cut her bangs herself. Oh, nah, girl, never a good idea. Zuko arrives to challenge her. He's brought Katara for backup, but you know it's gotta be an Agni Kai. And this is one of the most visually stunning scenes in animation history. The blue and the red fire, I mean, it is awesome. And now that Zuko's no longer conflicted, fighting on the side of good, he is finally a match for his sister. So it's time to bust out the lightning, and Zuko's ready to redirect it, but she doesn't fire at Zuko. Oh, she shoots Kaiju. Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is the Umbrella Academy, Season 1. Back in 1989, there were 43 mysterious births from women who were not previously pregnant. Eccentric billionaire and adventurer Sir Reginald Hargreaves went around the world collecting them. He got 7 of them, and they did indeed develop superpowers, so he formed them into a child superhero squad, the Umbrella Academy. In the present, they've all grown up. Number 1 is Luther. He's got super strength and is living on the moon. More on that later. Number 2, Diego, has super night-throne powers and is still doing the whole masked vigilante thing. Number 3, Allison, has become a movie star. She has the power to control people. If she says, I heard a rumor, you do that thing. Number 4 is Klaus, the hilarious eccentric drug addict who absolutely steals every scene he's in. Number 5 disappeared at a young age. And number 6 had crazy tentacle monster powers, but he died young too. But he's managed to stay in touch with his brother Klaus. That's Klaus's power. He can talk to the dead. Last and least is number 7, Vanya. She was not on the team because she didn't have any superpowers. She's just an ordinary average violin player who wrote an expose on their family, which was also meh. But now their adopted father died, so the gang's back together for the funeral. Luther's the only one who's stuck by now. Sears, the rest of them hated him because he was a terrible father, only cared about the superhero team, had no idea how to raise kids. They were basically raised by their nanny, who they call Mom, and she is, by the way, a robot. Also their butler, Pogo, the genetically modified intelligent chimpanzee, because that's just how Sir Reginald Hargreaves rolled. So these siblings don't really get along, but their unique upbringing has bonded them together. There's a beautiful scene where Luther cranks the music, and they're all dancing in their own weird way in different rooms of the house. It's really fun. But that night, a mysterious portal opens in the backyard, and out falls a kid. Who is this? It's their long-lost brother, number 5. He's got teleporting powers, and one day as a kid, he tried to teleport through time. It worked, but he couldn't get back. He's been stuck in the future for 40-something years, and so it's hilarious because he's a grumpy middle-aged man back in his 13-year-old body. He goes to the nearby donut shop for a coffee, but he's accosted by a bunch of armed goons. He's not surprised to see them, though, and they have an epic fight. Oh, he's teleporting around like Nightcrawler and X-Men 2. Who were those guys? What's going on? Well, 5 finally comes clean to Vanya that the future he was in was post-apocalyptic. He was finally able to come back to stop the apocalypse, which is in just a week. His only clue is a prosthetic eye that theoretically belongs to the person responsible. He tries to get answers, but the adults aren't taking him seriously, so he recruits his brother Klaus, who is technically an adult.
No.
Klaus is just the right kind of crazy, though, to get answers. Unfortunately, there's no answers to get. That eye has not been sold yet. Now it's romance time. Luther and Allison have always had kind of a crush on each other. They're adopted. It's fine. Some years back, she got married, though, but now they're breaking up. Ooh. But she's super sad she's lost custody of her daughter, so not the time to make a move. One night, she used her rumor power to make her daughter go to sleep. Every parent's dream, but in reality, very not cool. Diego has a crush on Detective Patch. They actually used to date, but now he's mostly just a pain in her butt. Vanya has a new boyfriend, too, Leonard Peabody. He signed up for her violin lessons and is a really nice average guy. Just like her, they hit it off. 5 has mentioned that he wasn't alone in the apocalypse. He had a wife, Dolores. Unfortunately, she is a mannequin. Now, meet time-traveling assassins, Hazel and Cha-Cha. They're hilarious, though, because of how they treat their super crazy cool job as very mundane. They are very good at their job, though, and track down 5, shooting up this department store wearing hilarious mascot masks. Why? Because it's cool. Luther, meanwhile, has been investigating Dad's death, and turns out Mom either intentionally or accidentally poisoned him. She has no memory of this and is acting spacier than usual, so they think maybe her programming's corrupted. We'll have to shut her down. Diego, in particular, is very against this. He had a special relationship with Mom. She helped him overcome his stutter as a kid, but talking to her in the present, he's got to admit she's not really all there, and so it's a tearful scene as he shuts her down. Pogo turns her back on, though. These two have some sort of secret. Anyway, Hazel and Cha-Cha find the house and start shooting it up, but they weren't expecting it to be full of former child superheroes. They drop a chandelier on Luther to escape, but he's fine. Those aren't normal giant muscles. They're gorilla giant muscles. Oh, that's new. After all his siblings left to lead their own lives, he was the only one that stuck around and wanted to choose Dad. On one of them, he was grievously injured, and the only way to save him was the experimental gorilla formula. Oh, he's super hairy now. While this whole fight was going on, Klaus was blissfully ignorant, so Hazel and Cha-Cha kidnapped him on their way out. They tried torturing him, but mostly he's into it, and he doesn't know anything anyway. He does remember, though, that Five mentioned the apocalypse, and so Hazel and Cha-Cha realize if they do their job and kill Five, they'll be causing the apocalypse, which gives Hazel second thoughts. As a side effect of being kidnapped, though, Klaus is starting to sober up, which gives him a better connection to ghosts. In fact, that's why he's high all the time. It's the only way to shut him out. Now, though, he finds himself surrounded by all the people Hazel and Cha-Cha have killed, and when he starts talking to him for him, Hazel's having even more doubts. He loves donuts and is starting to have a crush on the donut girl Agnes. She wants to retire and travel the country bird watching, and Hazel's like, yeah, you know, the simple life sounds kind of nice. Around this time, Diego is patching things up with Patch. She is a good detective and finds Klaus almost immediately, but unfortunately, oh no, she gets shot! Diego is super sad, and now unfortunately his prints are all over the crime scene. During the fight, Klaus escaped through the air vent, which is where Hazel hid their time travel briefcase. So Klaus grabs it on his way out, and when he goes to open it, poof, teleported through time. He pops back up the next morning, but it's been a whole year for him. He landed in the middle of the Vietnam War, where he accidentally enlisted. He met a real nice guy named Dave, and they fell in love, but no, Dave died in combat, and now Klaus is determined to sober up so he can see Dave again. Things are going great, by the way, with Vanya and Leonard, but today she's auditioning for first chair, and she's out of her anxiety meds. So she starts to play and is average as usual, but wait, something's different this time. Oh, these guys are enraptured, and she gets it. But Leonard has a secret. He intentionally dumped her meds. What's going on with him? Now, Five finally fills in his brothers about the apocalypse and how they all die trying to stop it. After 40-ish years of surviving the apocalypse alone, he met a mysterious woman. She's called the Handler and works for a time travel commission that makes sure history happens as it's supposed to. She's here to recruit Five to become a time travel assassin, and so he spent years going around making sure history happened. One day, though, right before assassinating JFK, he finally figured out how he could travel back. For it to work, though, his body reverted to its 13-year-old self, and that brings us up to speed. Long story short, he arranges a meet with Hazel and Cha-Cha, but it's interrupted by their brothers Klaus and Diego busting in an ice cream truck. Time freezes, though, for all the Five. The Handlers come back to recruit him again. He wants to stop the apocalypse, but she's like, yo, that just can't happen. Why don't you forget all this and come back work for us where you belong? So the next day, the siblings have all gathered to try to stop the apocalypse. Just then Vanya comes to invite them to her concert and sees they've called a family meeting without her, and this brings up years of resentment. They never treated her like part of the team. As she's venting to Leonard, the lampposts are all bending, and oh, she might have superpowers after all. Turns out she's always had these powers, but they were maybe too strong, so her father put her on medication to suppress them. Luther assumes the apocalypse might have something to do with why Dad sent him to the moon. But when he finds all the reports he sent never even opened, he realized Dad sent him there just to feel useful. The last 4 years of his life have been wasted. Luckily, Allison's there to console him. They go hang out in the fort they built as teenagers, and he finally confesses his feelings for her. They have a dressed-up dreamlike La La Land dance number. It's a beautiful moment, and they have their first kiss. So Five has rejoined the commission, not as an assassin this time. He's being groomed for management, but he's playing them. He's really here just to learn more about the apocalypse. He sends Hazel and Cha-Cha messages to kill each other, then blows up all the briefcases and pieces out of there. This completely undoes that whole episode, as it's Wednesday morning again, and this time Five drops in the middle of them. Hey, I just took out the time commission single-handedly. You're welcome. And now he knows who causes the apocalypse, a guy named Harold Jenkins. Harold Jenkins was a kid obsessed with the Umbrella Academy, but he had no powers, so was rejected humiliatingly. He also grew up with an abusive father, and so one day had enough and
Where are you?
killed him. He spent 12 years in prison plotting his revenge on the Umbrella Academy, and it's not really much of a secret. Harold's the real name of Vanya's boyfriend, Leonard. Allison goes to Warner while Diego's temporarily arrested on suspicion of murdering Patch. Luther finds out about his fake moon mission and has his existential crisis again, but this time Allison's not there to console him, so he goes out to a rave and lets his freak flag fly. And instead of a beautiful moment with the love of his life, he has a sloppy one-night stand with a random rave girl. Meanwhile, Klaus has a near-death experience and finally talks to their adopted father, Sir Reginald Hargreaves. He is, as usual, a bit of a dick, but he did know the apocalypse was coming, and he killed himself because that was the only way to get the team back together. Pogo and Mom were both in on it, that was their secret, and before he can explain more, he fades away. Also, he might be an alien, so watch out for that. Now, Hazel and Cha-Cha get the fake assignments from Five and are pitted against each other, but Hazel's not going to
This could be in Luke's house.
He's going to run away with Agnes. Leonard is trying to encourage Vanya to have her powers, but she's not really interested. That night,
Follow me.
attacked by some ruffians, and so to save her boyfriend, oh, Vanya, boom, power explosion. In the fight, Leonard lost his eye. Oh, that's how that happened. And it turns out the fight was staged. Leonard paid those guys to attack him to force Vanya to use her powers. And it worked. Vanya's willing to learn how to control them now. Turns out they're involved with sound, so playing the violin actually amplifies them. Just then, Allison mixed up there. Hey, bad news. Her boyfriend's a psycho.
Bastion?
She's not willing to hear that right now. She's more concerned with the fact that she has powers. This clicks a memory into place for Allison. Their father used Allison's powers to make Vanya...
There was 14 gold blocks over there.
You think you're ordinary, and so a lifetime of low self-esteem is not Vanya's fault, but magically imposed on her. Allison tries to apologize, but Vanya's real mad now and is starting to lose control.
And it's on peaceful mode right now.
Superpowers, but oh, violin bow throat slash. It was an She lost control, didn't mean to hurt her. Luckily, Allison survives. She just won't be able to speak for a while. Now, this is playing perfectly in Harold Jenkins' evil plan to turn Vanya against her siblings. But soon she finds out he's been manipulating her, and he drops the nice guy act, goes full abuser. I'm the only one that thinks you're special. You're nothing without me. But Vanya's not taking that. She uses her powers. Oh, stab this scumbag. You go, girl. Vanya comes back to apologize for Allison, seek her family's forgiveness, but Luther doesn't trust her and locks her up. Allison pleads to let her go, but Luther's being a dumb, overprotective guy, and so keeps her locked up, which is a really good way to push someone over the edge to the dark side. Boom! Vanya busts out of there, full supervillain mode now. And it's pretty apparent that they changed some things, but Vanya's still gonna cause the apocalypse. Meanwhile, Cha-Cha's tracked Hazel down, gonna kill Agnes, but time freezes again, and the handler's here. She apologizes for the mix-up, 5-cent fake info, but now your real job is to go make sure the apocalypse happens, and you can retire, do whatever you want. But Hazel doesn't trust the company or his partner anymore, and boom! Blast Cha-Cha out of the car, goes in there, shoots the handler, and rescues his lady love. Meanwhile, Vanya's concert is tonight, and though she's got full supervillain now, she still pays her bus fare. She's playing in this concert no matter what. Allison thinks she can calm her down, but the boys aren't taking chances, go to tackle her, which, does not work. She's fiddling harder than ever now. In fact, she's turning all white, and one could reasonably assume that when she finishes this song, the world will explode. There's more time goons after her, but now it's Klaus's time to shine. As he's sobered up, he's learned he can not just talk to ghosts, but feel them too. That's never happened before. So he powers up and physically manifests his brother Ben.
I'm not sleeping next to you.
Tentacle monster power takes all these guys out. The boys try one last time to
No, those are Luke. He's gonna kill you.
While she's distracted with her brothers, Allison got behind her. She can't bring herself
I'm in a different house.
to play them. Oh, distract her. Yes, they saved their sister and the world. Or wait, did they though? All the power she was channeling shot off harmlessly into space, except the moon was in the way, so not so harmlessly. Yep, by trying to stop the apocalypse, you ended up causing it. Classic time travel. So it's apocalypse time. Hazel managed to grab a briefcase, and he and Agnes peace out. Cha-Cha, not so lucky. The team's only hope is for 5 to time travel him out of there, but who knows where they'll end up, and that's how Season 1 comes to an end. Hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies, and click the join button to
Yeah.
This is The Boys.
We can already go to the end. We know where the stronghold is.
Alright, but this is not your PG-13 Avengers. Things get very dark and extremely gory.
It's literally in a ravine.
So don't worry, you're safe with me. Meet Jimmy Kim, mild-mannered electronic salesman. He's got a girlfriend, Robin, and they are very happy together till one day. Oh, what? It's one of those gory
No,
things I can't show as
I'm not Waterwolf.
by a speedster hero, basically like being hit by a train. Very scarring for poor Huey. He gives a standard corporate apology, and Huey's offered a small settlement if he signs the non-disclosure agreement, but Huey doesn't for an moment. So the next day, his life changes when he meets Carl Urban as Billy Butcher. He acts basically like an R-rated Captain Jack Sparrow. He curses in every single sentence. He claims to be with the FBI on a special task force who brings soups to justice. Yes, superheroes are mega celebrities, not just fighting crime, but starring in movies, brand deals, all that jazz. They get up to all sorts of bad stuff, but it's often just swept under the rug because money. The superhero mega corporation is Vought. They manage hundreds of little heroes across the country, but the big money makers are the Seven, basically the Justice League. One of the Seven, Lamplighter, has just retired, so the search is on for his replacement. Meet Annie. She's a small-town superhero from Iowa, goes by Starlight because she's got lightning powers, and she is chosen for the Seven, so overnight she's one of the 7 most famous people on the planet. On her first night, she meets the D, the Aquaman guy. He was her favorite growing up, but don't meet your heroes because he immediately demands sexual favors from her. Gives her the whole, hey, you gotta do what I say or I'll have you kicked right off the team, which is freaking awful. But come on, not all superheroes can be this bad, right? Not Homelander, the Superman type, truth, justice, and the American way. Publicly, he is a paragon of heroism, but being basically a god has given him zero regard for human life. In fact, he enjoys killing people, kind of a psychopath. His handler at Vought is Madeline Stillwell, a pretty high-up executive. When the mayor of Baltimore tries to lowball a deal because he knows some of Vought's dirty secrets, Homelander pays a visit to his plane and, laser eyes, crashes this thing. Yeah, evil Superman is very scary. The Butcher's got a plan to bring him down. He'll have Huey go in for a personal apology, and while he's signing the NDA, will plant a bug at the table. But Huey's no master spy. He drops the bug when he was getting it out. And who's creeping in the bathroom? It's the Invisible Man type, Translucent. He follows Huey back to work, roughs him up a bit, about to kill him, but Billy Butcher crashing in. Fighting soups is what he does.
That ain't the Invisible.
Except fighting an invisible man is very difficult, but together they manage to electrocute him and take him down. Huey's like, oh my god, Translucent tried to kill us, you gotta call this in. But Butcher confesses he's not actually with the FBI, and technically, they're criminals. So Butcher recruits one of his old friends, Frenchie, who is a mad genius superhero killer. Unfortunately, Translucent has diamond skin. He's basically invincible, nothing can penetrate it. But finally, Frenchie figures it out. His skin may be impermeable, but they shove a bomb up his butt. Yeah, that would probably do it. Translucent starts talking, tells them all about A-Train's secrets, but he almost escapes, and Huey has to decide if he's a killer or not. He's about to let Translucent go, but then remembers what A-Train did to Robin. another of those very gory scenes. Then Butcher goes to recruit another old friend, only known as Mother's Milk, MM. He's reluctant to join the team. He's got a serious girlfriend now, who he's always on the phone with. But he does join, and the boys are back together. Now, the info they got on A-Train was about his secret girlfriend, Popclaw. She's kind of a D-list superhero, was famous years ago for her sexy movies. Huey manages to hack the cameras in her apartment so the boys are watching when A-Train comes over, and they're doing some drug, Compound B. It's a super steroid which A-Train needs for his big race to prove he's still the fastest man alive. The boys are infiltrating, but when Huey sees Starlight, turns out he knows her. Yeah, they just had a random meet cute on a park bench. She's very happy to hang out with a normal guy like Huey. Being in the Seven has continued to disappoint. Even the fighting crime and saving people, theoretically the whole point, is basically all staged just for the social media likes. Anyway, it's the speedster race, which is a little anticlimactic because they just do one lap, but A-Train wins because he's juicing. The boys weren't able to steal his Compound B, but Popclaw's got some, and she's doing it right now, getting all jacked up. Just then, her landlord comes over to collect the rent, and they've worked out an arrangement where he gets to live out his superhero sexual fantasies. It's another scene I can't show any of, but basically because she's jacked up on Compound B, she loses control and accidentally kills this guy. But that's good news for the boys. They've got some serious blackmail on her now and get her to tell them everything she knows about Compound B. They go to the spot where A-Train picks it up, but there's something else here, a locked up young woman. Frenchie decides to let her go, but turns out she was locked up for good reason. She's a soup and is a feral craze killer. Frenchie thinks he can reach her with kindness, though. He keeps trying, and she keeps proving to be unreachable. He and Mother's Milk have a big fight. The boys are about to disband, but Butcher steps in with one of the funniest pep talks of all time. He goes into deep detail about the Spice Girls and what their solo careers have been like since the band broke up. Moral of the story being, apart we're useless, but put us together.
Spice Girls.
Now, it's a big problem for A-Train that Popclaw talks. It's a complicated relationship. He really loves her, but she's too much of a liability now, and he kills her, makes it look like an overdose. So sad for him. Her security camera, though, did catch Frenchie, so hunting him down is one of the Seven, Black Noir. He's a very funny minor character because he never says anything or takes off his mask, but he's in a bunch of hilarious random scenes. He's about to kill Frenchie, though, but he's saved by, the feral girl. They have a bit of a superhero fight where Black Noir wins. It looks like he's killed her, but, she's got regeneration powers. She's okay. Mott's big goal right now is to get their superheroes into the military, get those sweet military contracts, but the politicians are all against it. But a great opportunity arises when a plane gets hijacked in international waters. If they can go save it, it'll go a long way for public support. So Homelander flies up there. Don't worry, everyone, you're saved. But in the cockpit, Homelander gets a little trigger happy with his laser eyes and totally wrecks the controls. Oops. Queen Maeve is like, hey, do the Superman thing where you get under the plane and fly it to safety, but he's like, yo, that's just not how physics works. So there's nothing they can do. They watch this plane crash, which is spilled milk for Homelander, but Queen Maeve at least is starting to have a crisis. Now, Annie and Huey start dating. He's really falling for her, but on Butcher's insistence, he does bug her phone. She takes him as a date to the Believe Expo, which is a big old Jesus fest. As a good Christian girl, Starlight did a bunch of these growing up, especially pressured by her mother, who's a classic pageant mom. But with her fresh new perspective about how awful a lot of things in the world are behind the scenes, she realizes that this brand of Christianity is all about homophobia and hate. So when it's her turn to make her big Praise Jesus speech, she just can't do it. Instead has a real talk from the heart, including calling out the Deep for sexually harassing her on her first day of work. She had a conversation with the Deep earlier where she put him in his place, and somehow he transitioned into a comic relief character. He had a wacky side adventure where he tried to rescue a dolphin from Ocean World, but there was no seatbelt, so dolphin out the window. Then after his public sexual harassment scandal, he's unofficially demoted from the Seven and sent to Sandusky, Ohio, where he tries to rescue a lobster, but also gets it killed. Also, the reason he never takes his vest off is because he's got super gross kills. So we leave him in Ohio, a broken man who's shaving his head while crying. Now back to the Believe Expo, it's led by the Christian superhero Ezekiel, who's got stretchy man powers. But like most superheroes and real-life celebrity preachers, he's a huge hypocrite, and the boys are gonna blackmail him. Huey goes in for a private baptism, but he's never blackmailed anyone before, and at first it doesn't go so well, but eventually he gets the hang of it. They learn that Compound B is being given to babies to turn them into supers. This leads to a wonderful fight scene where Butcher uses the laser eye baby as a weapon.
That was diabolical.
Boys find out this isn't new. In fact, no superheroes are born naturally. They were all made this way. Homelander's all-American backstory is a complete fabrication. He was raised in a lab. This explains his weird relationship with Madeline that is somewhat sexual but also kind of motherly. She's like, who's my good boy? It's weird. Made even weirder because she's just had a real-life baby, and Homelander is like super jealous of it. Now, Feral Girl is less feral, but she still can't talk, so to find out her story, they bring her to Ellie Joel Osment. He's a mind-reading superhero, Mesmer, who much like real life was a big child star. Long story short, they get him to read the girl, whose name is Kimiko. Turns out she was drafted into a People's Liberation Army. Yeah, Frenchie, your girlfriend's a terrorist. They now understand Bot's evil plan to create a superpowered terrorist, then the government would have to let the soups into the military. They have enough evidence now to bring in the feds. Yeah, Butcher does actually have a CIA contact, though he was reluctant to use her. They're gonna take down Bot to expose the whole conspiracy. But it's too late. Another supervillain terrorist has just emerged. They need Vought now. The government rushes through the bill, letting guys, the real villains are Vought and the other supers. She's not ready to hear this yet, but she confronts her mom and finds out, yeah, she wasn't chosen by God. She was injected with sketchy drugs, and her whole life's been a lie. The other boys get caught, but Huey's got a plan to save him, getting himself captured, but smuggling in his 7th grade retainer, so they break out, though it's short-lived. But flash of light, yeah, who's here to save him? It's Starlight, full superhero mode.
Like you said,
Huh?
I'm a superhero.
A-Train shows up, and it's a superhero fight. He's real fast, but not faster than light. Except I guess he kind of is, because he knocks her down, and he's about to kill Huey, but...
Don't you mean like, dude, we took a field trip to one place so many times. We did it like twice. One in first and one in kindergarten.
Is with Homelander personally. Back when he was clean-shaven, he had a wife named Becca, and they were very much in love. In fact, she worked for Vought. She was Homelander's social media manager. But 8 years
It's like that place by the ocean, like near Maine.
Homelander raped and killed her. But now Homelander investigates too, talking to the old doctor that raised him because he didn't kill Rebecca. What happened to her? Turns out she got pregnant with the Homelander baby. Didn't survive the birth though, and Vought swept it under the rug to protect Homelander. But now Butcher's captured Madeline to lure Homelander out. And he's like, you killed the woman I love, now I'm gonna kill the woman you love. But Homelander's like, yo, love is a very strong word for this mere mortal, especially one who's been lying to me. Yeah, he asked her about Butcher's wife also, but her and the doctor's stories were slightly off. And so the one person Homelander maybe cared about, oh, he lasers her in the face. Butcher's like, well, guess the jig's up then, and boom, blows himself up, but he survives. Homelander grabbed him and pulled him to safety. He's like, hey man, I want you to see this, you're gonna flip. Turns out his son survived. Oh man, a mini Homelander. He's been raised by his mom, Becca Butcher. Yes, the woman you dedicated your life to avenging is alive and well. And that's how season 1 of The Boys comes to an end. If you like this recap, hit that subscribe button. I'm bringing you the best recaps of TV and movies, so don't miss out. This recap is brought to you by NordVPN. Stay tuned at the end of the video for more information and a great...
Have not found a single diamond. Jake's live streaming? Wait, what? Oh, that little bugger is appearing offline.
Charlie might help us with the British Christian Hayden. Hi. Alright. I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. I kind of forgot. Oh, okay. But why is your name Christian Haydinger or something? If it's you, Lucas.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened tonight. Hey, guys, stay on my lucky platform.
This game that kind of sucks. I don't really know how it works. Oh. You just called yourself Charboy. It's Chaboy. Even you knew that, and you told me that you were confused why other people called you Charboy.
Because I'm watching Jake's stream.
I don't know why you said Charboy. That just puts you low on the honor scale.
I'm gonna go join Jake in Rec Room. You should install it.